Hi guys, it's Karen from Art by Karen E. Haley. I was just going to show you a tutorial today about coloring wide areas or large areas with a regular Copic sketch marker. And I'm just going to get started here. This color is B41 and I have the refill here, and it's important to know that if you're going to do a large colored area, it's probably best if you use a marker that you own a refill for, because otherwise you might run out of ink in the middle of your drawing and it won't look right. So I'm just going to make sure that I have ink in my marker, and I don't have a needle that I had set for this color, so I'm just going to take this nib out right here. And I don't have tweezers either, so I just use my fingers because I really don't care if I get marker ink on my hands. So I'm just going to drip a few drops into the marker itself. And this marker is already pretty full, so I'm just going to set the refill aside and put the nib in and make sure it matches. Make sure the nib is going in the same way that the nib is drawn onto the marker. Okay, so I'm just going to cap back on there. I'm going to let it wait for a little bit to make sure that the ink spreads through the whole marker. So I'm going to talk about how I choose which direction to go. In a picture like this, when there's two distinct sides to the picture, usually I start at one side and work my way all the way over to the other, otherwise it'll get really streaky. So that's what I'm going to do, and let's see, it looks like it's pretty full, so I'm just going to start. And a lot of people say that Copic markers are hard to use with large areas, but really as long as you color slowly but make sure that the paper is wet, the whole thing will turn out really nice. So you just have to keep the nib on the paper as much as possible. Don't scribble. You know, some people scribble like they're coloring with a Crayola marker, and that's not really how you use these. And you can make really nice drawings with Crayola markers too. It's just that people tend to color so quickly with markers that they think that markers are no good. But if you color really steadily, you can get really nice color out of them. And I'm using the chisel nib. I'm not using the brush nib because the brush nib will make it kind of swirly and cloudy and look kind of strange. So I'm just going to keep going here, and I'm probably going to just fast forward the rest of this. But yeah, as long as you keep the marker on the paper, color back and forth. And with light colors, it's actually a little bit more difficult to get an even coat. But as long as you make sure that your marker is full of ink before you start, it will turn out really nice. Okay, and you will be tempted to start over here and work your way towards here, but that's a terrible idea. Don't ever do that. I have done that before in some of my drawings, and it really didn't turn out very well. So, just some advice. I know from experience that that's a bad idea. Alright. And now there are some streaks in this, so I am going to do another coat. It's important that when you do your second coat that you do it even more carefully than your first, because if you don't, then you will get streaks and stripes that are even worse than what could have been there before. Okay, now finally we've come to the details, and there's only a couple. Around the water drops on this otter's whiskers. So I'm just going to touch up that. And you'll notice that I kind of colored outside of the lines here. I never really worry about coloring outside the lines when I'm doing outlines or backgrounds, because I always do the backgrounds first with a darker character. If the background's light, I always start with the light colors because you can just go over, and the character is going to be dark brown, so it'll be fine. And so that's my tutorial on coloring large areas with the Copic sketch marker. I hope it was helpful. Thank you for watching.